Good morning and welcome to the Mint. I'm Andy Hodges. Let's have a quick look at Zimbabwe Stock Exchange closing prices last night, together with African currencies, commodities, metals and energy prices around the world. In our main story today, the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange will next year introduce new indices on the local bourse following its adoption of the Global Industry Classification Standards GICS. ZSC Chief Executive Justin Mngoni said the new indices are expected to provide the market with better tools for performance measurement as well as assist in sector-based investment strategies. In line with this, all listed counters will be reclassified into financials, consumer discretionary, consumer staples, materials, industrials, information, communication and technology, as well as real estate. According to the ZSC, as a result of the reclassification, new indices will be introduced with effect from January the 1st, 2020. And these are what they are. Well, first of all, they've broken them down into groups. You see the all-share index, ZSC top 10, top 15, top 25, medium cap, top 10 investable index. I'm just picking a few there. And ZSC export and dual listed index. Of course, you've got other indices will be there as well, which are sector specific. Financials index, consumer discretionary index, industrials index. Look at that, information, communication, technology and transport index, materials index, and the ZSC real estate index. So you can see that this is quite a large jump for the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. Now then, we're joined in studio by Mr. Mngoni. He's the Chief Executive Officer of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. He's here to really explain exactly what the hell's going on. Justin, welcome.
Thanks, Andy.
Now tell me, first of all, what has the ZSC done, and why did you do it?
So basically what we're doing is, if you look at the indices that we have at the moment, they are very broad and very limited. So it's very difficult for you to think of exactly what is happening in the markets. So basically what we have done is we've caught up with other exchanges and broken down our exchange into more indices. That's basically what we've done.
So, but I mean, obviously you're doing this to help investors. How does it help investors?
So, for example, at the moment, if you look at it, we've got two broad categories. We've got mining and industrial. And if you look at industrial, you have a company like Econet, same as Lafarge, for example. These are totally different companies in terms of sectors, if you think about it in terms of performance. So what we have done is we've made more logical breakdown of what the companies should be like. So that's basically what we've done.
Okay, now you're saying that you want to try and align with ZSC because quite frankly, as it stands now, it's quite a simple bourse. So you're trying to take it, into the 21st century?
Into the 21st century, yes, yeah. So what happens then, asset managers can come up with more sophisticated products. So for example, if you think as an investor to say, I think financials is where the growth is going to be. Now asset managers, given these indices, can come up with a specific strategy of tracking financials, for example.
Because we spoke about this. I mean, overseas you can invest in a unit trust which has a portfolio of stocks. In other words, it eliminates some risk in the sense that you're not risking on one stock, you're risking on a basket of stocks.
Yeah, so we call this exchange traded funds. And we were supposed to launch it a few months ago, but we're about to launch it. What we are waiting for is we're waiting for gazetting from the government. Once it's done, then we'll be able to launch exchange-traded funds. In fact, we have an issuer who is ready to do it. And once there's a gazette, we're hoping that by end of this year or early next year, you'll be able to do this.
Right, so this is from January 2020. Now, I need to ask you, I've got you here on the Mint. What new products, anything new, anything exciting coming out of the ZSE in the next few months or in the near future?
Yes, there is. So the big one for us is, besides the exchange-traded funds, is one of the things that we're trying to do is real estate investment trusts. Because we know people want to have exposure to property. So we're looking at a product that's going to help people do exposure to property. Another thing as an exchange as well is we feel that the growth of the economy is in SME. So we're going to do something in the SME. So look out for that in the show.
Oh, there you go. That's coming up. It's coming up. Well, I'm excited, Justin.
And that's exclusive. It's the first time I've said it.
First time, there you go. A Mint exclusive. Here you are from the CEO of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, Justin Bigoni. Thank you very much for coming on the Mint, Justin.
Okay, thanks, Andy.
Now, the new indices are expected to provide the market with better tools for performance measurement, as the CEO of ZSE said, as well as to assist in sector-based investment strategies. Fund managers will now be able to create a portfolio that focuses on investing in export and dual-listed stocks and offers such portfolios as a unit trust or exchange rate linked trust to potential investors. Look, with this move, the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange is moving closer to the products and services offered by such bourses as the FTSE, Dow Jones, Nasdaq, S&P 500 and Shanghai exchanges. Fin24 reports that the International Monetary Fund has urged more decisive reforms to boost private investment in South Africa, forecasting economic growth to remain sluggish for a sixth consecutive year in 2020. The African continent's most industrialized country has been dogged by high and rising debt, low growth, and record high unemployment over the last decade. A more decisive approach to reform is urgently needed, an IMF team said at the end of their visit last week. The statement issued late Monday said while South Africa's potential was still largely untapped, its recent poor economic performance pointed to rising risks. South Africa narrowly avoided a second recession in 2 years when the economy grew a surprising 3.1% in the 3 months to end June 2019, according to the Statistics Agency. One of the biggest risks to the economy in South Africa, according to pundits, has been posed by the embattled state power company Eskom, which has a 450 billion rand debt bill, despite multiple bailouts from the state. Last month, the finance minister, Tito Mboweni, bemoaned the ballooning national debt, saying it exceeded 3 trillion rand this year and was expected to rise to 4.5 trillion rand over the next 3 years. The IMF warned that reliance on government spending to boost growth, coupled with continuous bailouts to state-owned entities, was not sustainable in the short or even medium or long term. S&P Global Ratings last week changed its outlook on South Africa's sovereign credit rating to negative, citing low GDP growth and a growing debt burden. A brand new type of malware was discovered infecting computer systems and forcing them to mine Bitcoin, according to Microsoft. Safety researchers from Microsoft say the malware, dubbed DevPot, has been infecting computer systems since October 2018 and hit its peak in June 2019 when it found its way into 80,000 machines. Microsoft said that DevPot stands out for its sophistication and, of course, success rate. As soon as loaded onto a machine, DevPot quietly uses part of its computing energy to mine Bitcoin. Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency, is generated by what is referred to as mining. Amongst its strategies was a kind of cloaking referred to as polymorphism that consistently modifies the malware's footprint on a PC and helps cloak it from antivirus software program designed to acknowledge patterns. The malware additionally employed strategies to reinstall itself incrementally so as to make sure that it remained on the computer system long enough to mine sufficient quantities of Bitcoin. Although the DevPot malware was designed to mine Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency has developed into a scam that attempts to extort customers utilizing blackmail and freezing of computers until a ransom is paid. This is the Mint comments. Now, make sure you use the latest and best malware programs available on your computers. Keep them updated, and of course, do not download anything from any non-trusted source. Well, I'm Andy Hodges, and you have been watching The Mint. Please follow us on our Facebook page at Zim Papers TV Network, our website ztn.co.zw, and on YouTube under ZTN. Your comments, please, are welcome via our Twitter handle at ZTN News and, of course, via our Facebook page. Join us here on The Mint every weekday morning at 6 a.m. Central African Time. Well, goodbye. Have a profitable business day today, and you all be safe.